UFC 317, International Fight Week, is going to be one of the biggest events of 2025. Ilia Topuria will take on the former lightweight champion Charles Oliveira, in the main event for the soon-to-be vacant championship belt. However, there is a hurdle in the form of dropping viewership for UFC 317. And that's the fight between Jake Paul and Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. Yes, the boxing bout is scheduled for the same day as UFC 317. But does that really concern Dana White? Following the blockbuster fights at UFC Baku, White was asked to give his thoughts on going head-to-head with the problem child's next fight. Surprisingly, the 55-year-old UFC boss was completely oblivious to it. He expressed, "Oh, really? I didn't know that. Who's he fighting?" On top of that, he was also unaware of Holly Holm's fight against Yolanda Ochoa in the co-main event. But the question still remains that is Dana White really concerned about clashing with Jake Paul versus Chavez Jr.? Well, not really. He said, "I didn't even know he was fighting. So, that's how concerned I am about it." However, the reporter kept pressing, claiming that Paul versus Chavez Jr. was actually a proper fight. While White agreed, his stance remained the same. The UFC CEO said, "Yeah, it's interesting. I didn't know that." The UFC head honcho is on the verge of becoming a big shot in the boxing realm as he continues to promote the fight between Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez, along with Sheikh Turki Al-Sheikh, set to go down on September 13, 2025. White seemingly has high expectations for it, promoting the event pretty avidly on his social media profiles. While the UFC boss stayed off Paul's next fight with simple claims of being uninformed of the event, the problem child has remained pretty vocal about White's boxing venture. The YouTuber-turned-professional boxer wasted no time in berating White's partner in this endeavor, Sheikh Turki Al-Sheikh, with two high-profile boxers set to clash in the main event on September 13. At the press conference for Alvarez vs. Crawford, things got heated when the boxers faced off. It was a nose-to-nose stare-down, and Alvarez ended up shoving his opponent. The UFC head honcho sensed the friction and jumped in between the two. His quick thinking prevented a massive brawl. Nothing new for the UFC head honcho, as head had to jump in between plenty of raging fighters at the face-offs. Surprisingly, Crawford and Alvarez seemed to enjoy a pre-fight meal with Sheikh Turki Al-Sheikh after the face-off. Paul wasn't really a fan of that. When he stumbled across a picture of the pre-fight dinner on Instagram, he made an uncanny comparison by dragging in two of the biggest soccer stars on the planet. He wrote, "That's some goofy imagine Messi and Ronaldo grabbing dinner before a legit match against each other. Goofy." This was probably a response to White's claims about Paul's fights being rigged. Yes, the problem child believes that it was the UFC CEO who started the rumors about his fights being rigged after he defeated the legendary Mike Tyson. On an episode of the Iced Coffee Hour, Paul said, "Rigged fights and steroids I think is probably the most ludicrous ones. Dana White started both of those rumors. After I beat Mike Tyson, the amount of people saying, 'This is rigged.' The average person doesn't understand boxing." Despite the animosity, White has been vocal about how he doesn't hate Jake Paul. He commended Paul's quest to constantly seek attention and find success. On the other hand, he praised his brother, Logan Paul, for his business acumen. But when it comes to clashing events on the same date, White is unbothered and uninterested. After all, he has bigger fish to fry, in his own domain, and now in boxing.